11 Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Live from the Hive in Atlanta, Georgia, it's almost playoff time in the Simulation Football League. And two teams that haven't made the playoffs in a couple of seasons looking to get back there square off today. The Atlanta Swarm need just one win to possibly secure their spot in the playoffs with 7 wins, while the 3-7 Oklahoma City Renegades need to win out and have some help. It's the #1 total offense in the SFL on display today in A-Town as the Atlanta Swarm take on the Oklahoma City Renegades. Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Drillo, joined in the booth by Levant Mercer. Levant, welcome back, my friend.
It's great to be back, and for such a great game such as this one here today. Atlanta has a high-flying offense, and we're going to see the league leader in passing yards, and Marcus Dunhill show us what he can do today.
Well, you see Dunhill down there for the kickoff as well, as Deacon Nickens, number 19, the quarterback for Oklahoma City. Two teams with very different offensive styles will clash today, with the pass-heavy offense from Atlanta going up against the run-based Oklahoma City attack. Which team do you think will have the more success on offense? We'll find out next. Kickoff is in a moment. We are ready to go. Atlanta won the toss, chose to defer. So the kicker, Jay Miraculous, has the ball on the tee. He's got his hand in the air, and the whistle blows. Game on from Atlanta. The Sunday slate of SFL action begins on the 11 Sports Network with a return for Oklahoma City. They're going to get out to the 30-yard line. That's Ashley Rose Finch on the return. But let's take you through the players to watch on the Oklahoma City offense. Their quarterback is Deacon Nickens. 2 stars in the backfield to watch out for. That's Jason Williams, the running back, and DJ Moses, the fullback. Wide receiving threats are Alonzo Bamba, Ermac Jackson, and Joe Clark Jr. 1st and 10 from the 30. Nickens throws over the middle, short and complete underneath for 9 yards. Good pickup to Tiberius Bovine, who's the one player I didn't mention, and probably the one player I should have mentioned because he is the 11-season veteran.
Not only that, but this season he has about at least 7 games over 50 yards receiving, and 5 of those games he's caught for over 100 yards.
Bovine 781 yards on the season coming into today. Also has 3 touchdowns, but here's a handoff up the middle. We're going to see this a lot from Oklahoma City in short yardage situations, as there's a first down picked up by Jason Williams.
Yeah, Jason Williams came over from the Alaska Storm, moved from fullback to running back, and has done a decent job for Oklahoma City this season.
But it's really the 1-2 punch of Williams and Moses that can really keep a defense on its toes. Both of them, however, on the sideline here on 1st and 10 in a 4-wide set. Nickens, pressure in his face, gets the pass off underneath to Bovine, and he'll pick up 7. Let's talk about that Atlanta defense, shall we? Because there are plenty of players to watch out for. The defensive line, Tim Cleland and Joshua Williams. At the linebacker position, there's Dylan Rowland, Roscoe Justice, and Akwate Shad. At quarterback, Jack Napier and Blake Hamrick. And at safety, Blake Chance, Mitchell O'Brien, and Aaron Lee. Pretty efficient drive so far for Oklahoma City. 2nd and 3 at the 47. Handoff up the middle goes to Moses, and Moses gets stopped back for a loss of 1.
I felt like that play needed to be called differently there. You see that there's more than 10 in the box. You got to change the play in that situation.
And Atlanta stacks the box here again. This time the linebackers will move back slightly before the snap. Nickens to throw on 3rd and 4, floats it to the near side. Bovine has made all the catches for Oklahoma City, and he breaks the tackle and turns upfield into Atlanta territory.
Can't leave the tight end on an island like that. You just saw that the coverage just dipped away from him there, and he was just able to get the hard yardage for the first.
It looks like the plan is to go to Bovine whenever and wherever possible today, at least on the first couple of plays for the Renegades. 1st and 10 I formation. Nickens back to pass. Plenty of time, but he sits there in the pocket with nobody open and eventually goes down. The Alaska pass rush finally gets to him.
That's just the quintessential coverage sack there. No one downfield. Craig Julian just has a great, just pulls this man over.
That's the left guard, Corey Mercer, who got manhandled by Julian. 2nd down and 19, first real adverse position of the game for the Renegades. They'll stick with the I formation. Here comes the blitz. It's just tossed out there to Moses, who picks up almost all of the yards back off the sack. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Great job that time by Nickens to get the ball away. He saw the pressure coming and he just checked it down to his fullback. That's what you need to do sometimes when you see that pressure coming your way.
And points will be important for Oklahoma City because this Atlanta team scores so many of them and has more passing yards and total yards than any other team in the SFL. So offensive drives will need to count for the team out of the Midwest with red helmets, white jerseys, red pants with dark blue and gold trim. Nickens moves in the pocket, fires over the middle. Double coverage. What a catch to move the chains on 3rd and 11. And a first catch for Ermac Jackson on the day. Jackson, 6'4", 215, went up and climbed the ladder. Handoff Moses, and Moses will get 1.
That's something that we've been seeing from Atlanta today. They're able to just penetrate the line at the line of scrimmage and just get to the ball carrier.
2nd down and 9. Atlanta shifts before the snap. They'll only bring 5, and running through it is Jason Williams to get 5 yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and manageable 4. Inside the red zone to the 20-yard line.
This has been a rather efficient drive for Oklahoma City so far. They've been able to get down the field, been able to mix up some of the play calling. So this opening script has been very effective for them so far.
And they've taken almost 5 minutes off the clock. Here's Nickens. Pressure coming down. He goes. 2nd sack of the series for Atlanta, and this time it's their main man up front, Joshua Williams.
That's his 10th sack of the season right there, and you should see him right there just punch right through. So again, just swim right at the quarterback. That's what you need to do when you're lined up front like that and you have a quick, clear angle to get to him.
Not the way that Oklahoma City wanted this drive to end. A field goal try by Johnny Omega after the 3rd down play goes nowhere. It's going to be about a 44-yarder. Kick is on the way, and good, right down Main Street. So with 5 minutes and 34 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the Oklahoma City Renegades lead the Atlanta Swarm 3-0. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. Stay with us. A drive for Oklahoma City, Levant, that you really think should have ended in 6, not 3, but clutch plays by the Atlanta defense says otherwise.
Yeah, there have been 2 sacks on that drive that really drove the note home that I want to get to, and that they're going to have to do better in pass protection if they want to get points in future drives.
So here comes the Atlanta Swarm offense, led by Marcus Dunhill, a leading 3,500 yards through the air and 23 passing touchdowns, is good for third in the Simulation Football League. They are not afraid to air it out early, often, and all the time in their electric blue, black, and lime green uniforms that have become so infamous in the SFL. But three backs behind him, they'll go to BDG Hollywood, who's the running back, who is no slouch in his own right and gets 8 yards on first down.
Had all the blockers in front of him and just had a clear lane. With his speed, he is a threat to go long every time he gets handed the ball.
Handed the ball, or has the ball passed to him out in the flat. He has 5 receiving touchdowns to complement his 12 rushing touchdowns, does BDG Hollywood. 2nd and 2. Dunhill will go to Hollywood in the flat. Hollywood with a blocker in front of him. Room to run down the sideline to the 50. One man to beat to the 40. And he is gone to the house. Put it on the board. Touchdown Atlanta. They only need 2 plays and they're into the end zone.
That right there was the speed that we were talking about right there. Just absolutely blasted right through this defense. It has a key block to seal the edge. We're going to see it again right here. Look at the tight end. Look at him go. Oh, that's actually the guard. Gets over there, blocks the edge, seals it, and there he is, gone. No one is there to catch him, and into the end zone he goes. Easy as you'd like.
John Gregory was the last man to try and grab at the coattails of BDG Hollywood, but he just ran right by him, used that elite top speed that he has, and raced into the end zone. Make that a 68-yard touchdown reception. And Miraculous puts it extra point up and good. So Atlanta takes the lead 7-3 with 4:45 to go in the first. We'll be back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. Welcome back to the Hive in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta Swarm up 7-3 early here on the Oklahoma City Renegades. A pivotal battle with playoff implications. 2 teams on the bubble. Atlanta over the top of the line. Oklahoma City on the outside looking in, and the Renegades will get the ball for their second drive of the game after a quick strike to BDG Hollywood. That drive for Atlanta going 2 plays, 80 yards.
Oklahoma City will feel hard done by on their last drive. Like I said in the first go around, they're going to need to do better in pass protection. They have had an efficient drive last time out, so let's see if they can replicate it here.
Nickens with a 7-step drop and launches it down the field, and it's fantastic coverage. Ermac Jackson was almost free and clear and would have gone for a 70-yard touchdown had Blake Hamrick not dived and knocked the ball away.
Let's just look at it again. Right there, just lunges and saves probably an easy touchdown. He's like well away from him, like makes a dive and just knocks the ball away.
Terrific recovery by Hamrick. It's his first season in Atlanta after spending time in Chicago and Carolina. In fact, the entire secondary for Atlanta did not play for the Swarm until this season. More on that after the 2nd down and 10 play. It's a high snap to Nickens. Nickens pressured, down he goes. It's 3 sacks in the first quarter for the Atlanta defense, and it's Joshua Williams with his second.
Just look at this again. Right here, they're stunting. They're confused. And this just completely confounds those blocking assignments. So they don't know where or who to block, and that's just some miscommunication, not being able to pick up the stunt or the blitz, and leaves Joshua Williams with an easy lane to the quarterback.
3rd and 16. Nickens fires over the middle into traffic, incomplete, knocked away by Blake Chance. Knocked away by Aaron Lee. And I'd said that I did misspeak that the secondary for Atlanta was all new. Aaron Lee's been here for 4 seasons after originally starting his career with the Baltimore Crabs. But Blake Hamrick is in his first season at corner. Blake Chance is in his first season at safety. Mitchell O'Brien was picked up as a rookie free agent in Week 7, and Jack Napier was an undrafted rookie at the beginning of the season at cornerback. Punt away from Ethan Ellis, his first of the game, is going to be decent field position for the Swarm. Up at their own 40-yard line, and the Atlanta offense will go back on the field. If you've liked what you've seen and you want to be a player in the SFL, do not miss your chance to be drafted to get onto the field for next season. And the 11 Sports Studios will host the SFL Draft Saturday, December 14th. So head on over to our website, that's simulationfl.net. Go to our Discord and start logging in your check-ins to build your draft stock for the 2020 spring season. Incomplete pass on first down, broken up by Thomas. I never got a chance to go through the starters when Atlanta has the ball. Here's the Oklahoma City defense. Linebackers Dave Drury and John Gregory. Corners Ashley Rose Finch and Parker Thomas. Safeties Brady Clark and Thomasina Rahman. Here's the power eye on 2nd and 10. Handoff Hollywood right side. He gets a hole. He gets another block, but he runs into the back of his own defender. That was Siege Falco, the wide receiver, who held him up just a little bit, and he stopped after a gain of 3. Here's the offensive stars for Atlanta. Marcus Dunhill is their quarterback. B.D.G. Hollywood, the running back. Wide receivers Severa Sativa, Boo Chisholm, and Siege Falco, with the tight end being Jamal Wooding. Now on 3rd and 7, they'll spread it out 4 wide. 3 to the top side right. And down the field on a go-round. It's a one-handed catch into Oklahoma City territory. Boo Chisholm shows the 6th-season veteran. That's how it's done.
Ball looked like it was a little overthrown, but when you have a wide receiver at this caliber, he's able to bail you out right there. Big play.
Dunhill almost 100 yards passing and a touchdown. Helped a lot by B.D.G. Hollywood's insane run after catch on the first drive. Handoff, Hollywood breaks a tackle, then shifts his way for 8 yards straight up the middle. And the Oklahoma City defense hasn't gotten off to the greatest of starts today.
No, it seems like they've been rather poor so far today, and it just seems like they haven't been able to get to the quarterback. They haven't been able to get in the backfield to stop the ball carrier before he crosses the line of scrimmage. That's really what's hurting them so far.
2nd and 2. Here's a designed out route to Hollywood. Breaks 1 tackle. Breaks 3 tackles. Is still going inside the 20. Somehow Oklahoma City doesn't bring him down until the 18-yard line.
That right there. Just take a look at it again. Just some arm tackles right here. Breaks out of that spin right here. It gets kind of caught up there on his blockers. That would have been a good time to try to take him down. As you just see here, there's a lot of arm tackles. That's just not the way you bring B.D.G. Hollywood down.
You got to get your body behind the ball and drive him to the ground. He's going to run through arm tackles all day long. And Atlanta is in business inside the red zone, looking to extend on their 7-3 lead here in the first quarter. Only a minute 50 seconds to go in this first quarter. Hollywood up the middle. He dives forward for 3. John Gregory on the stop.
It's also going to be rather tough when Atlanta likes to have multiple blockers, multiple tight end sets. You have you have a fullback, you have you have 2-3 running back sets, and they are just outnumbering the amount of members in the box. They're just winning the hack count right now.
2nd and 7. Dunhill, plenty of time. Throws quickly to the far side. Sheesh Falco inside the 5, down to the 3, and was one tackle away from going into the end zone. Tomasino Raman, the strong safety, brought him down. And now, with the clock ticking down under a minute to go in the first, Atlanta looking to ride the Hive, their home fans here in the Hive. Dunhill, plenty of time, checks it down to Hollywood. Hollywood this time will be bottled up and loses 2 yards. That time nobody was open and Hollywood couldn't bail out Dunhill.
That's the thing about being in the red zone. You know, you no longer have that space to run and roam free to try to get yourself open. Sometimes these things happen.
Under 20 seconds to go. 2nd down and goal from the 5. Here's Hollywood on a go around. Oh, he's brought down. Another loss of yardage back to the 6th. Excellent pursuit to the ball by Parker Thomas. And that will be the end of the first quarter. Atlanta faces a 3rd and goal when we return to the Hive. We'll be back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. Stay with us. Back in Atlanta at the Hive, we start the second quarter with the Swarm pushing for their 2nd touchdown and try to take a larger lead than 7-3. Marcus Dunhill alone in the backfield on 3rd and goal. Only a 3-man front for Oklahoma City. Thrown to the back of the end zone. Intercepted in traffic, and Oklahoma City denies Atlanta.
Seemed like even the camera had an issue tracking the ball here. Right here, you just see Brady Hawk just notice that just notice that the ball was tipped and he just dove right under every other defender and came away with the ball.
And that could be huge for the Renegades, denying the Swarm any points on that drive. Now Deacon Nickens and company back on the field and looking to get back into this game. Nickens jumping and throwing and completing down the field. Joe Clark Jr. with his first catch of the afternoon.
That's just something that they're going to need right here. This is just an easy timing route right here. As soon as he beats his man, the ball's out and right into his hands. That's how you're going to need to beat this pass rush today. Going to need more of those plays still in their playbook and in their game plan to get them out of this situation.
What did you see there from Nickens? Was that a little bit of the old run and shoots, or was he pressured and moving in the pocket, and that was just a good throw on his back foot?
I think that might be a little bit of a happy feat. You know, he's been pressured a lot to stay.
Here's fullback up the middle. Moses gets 3.
Sometimes that happens to quarterbacks. You know, they drop back. They've felt the pressure so far, and if you're a pocket passer, you're not really able to run that far out. You're not really able to move too much, so you start getting antsy back there.
2nd down and 7. Nickens, this time has plenty of time, floats it over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for Tiberius Bovine, but had a defender draped all over him, couldn't handle the catch. 3rd down and 7. On the last defensive series for Oklahoma City, Tomasino Raman made a solo tackle to keep Hollywood out of the end zone. And that was her, if I can find it here, that was her 36th tackle of the season. That matches her solo tackle career high. 3rd down and 7. High formation Nickens, back to pass. Time on his side, throws complete on the crossing pattern to Bovine. 1st down.
A little unheralded at times simply because of the team that he finds himself on. He's been here quite some time, and honestly is one of the fastest and shiftiest tight ends this league has come to see. And that right there just cuts right across. And when you see him paired up against a linebacker, you'll take that all day.
There is the chat on their screen now at twitch.tv/11sportsnext. They're reacting to the BDG Hollywood touchdown run from earlier. Over the middle, that's complete to Joe Clark Jr. If you want to get involved and talk to players, coaches, owners, and even us here in the broadcast booth, head on over to twitch.tv/11sportsnext. That's twitch.tv/11sportsnext. And you can join in on all of the Simulation Football League action. And while you're there, give our website a follow too at simulationfl.net. Here's a pitch to Jason Williams, gets a yard off the right side, sets up 3rd and 4.
At that right there, you just saw Julian come off the line. Guard was not able to come across, pull properly, and stop him, and that was why he was able to get in the backfield there.
Offset I, 3rd and 4, 2 receivers left. Nickens looks that way, fires over the middle, double coverage, and it's caught at the Atlanta 22. Joe Clark Jr. in traffic.
Well, the little guy does it again right here, finds a zone, and just has great hands. Is able to come down with the ball for the 1st down.
And great timing on the route as well by Nickens. Splits the safeties directly in half and allows the 5'11 Clark to go up and make a catch. Now almost inside the red zone at the 22-yard line. Hand off to Williams. Jason Williams makes one man miss and gets to the 17 for a gain of 5.
It was more what he was known for in Alaska when he was there, was just go get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and that time he gets 5 for his team. Probably want to use him more in the middle there. That's where he's used to playing.
2nd and 5. Nickens reads the defense, changes the play. High snap, corralled. He moves in the pocket, floats it over the middle, incomplete. It was in and out of the hands of Joe Clark Jr. He got rocked over the middle of the field, and the bar jarred loose. Here is the wild card race. Atlanta at 6 and 4 really needs this win to get the 7 wins and to almost secure a playoff spot. 7 wins doesn't exactly secure you a spot in the playoffs, but it's very, very close. Oklahoma City 3 and 7 still has an outside chance if they win out, get to 5 and 7 and have some results go their way. But a loss today or next week in the final week of the season would sink their chances of making the postseason. 3rd and 5, 3rd straight 3rd down on this drive. Nickens, pressure in his face, throws, and the blitz did not pick up Tiberius Bovine. They left him wide open, 1st and goal for Oklahoma City, and we've got a player down. It's Greg Julian, who's made such a bright start today on the defensive line for Atlanta.
Oh, that's absolutely unfortunate because he was having such a great game up to this point. Let's see what happens to him right here. Seems to just roll his ankle as he hit the quarterback. He just fell awkwardly on his knee, and that's... We'll keep you updated on his progress as the game continues on.
And it looked like he almost got stepped on there by Lawrence Sackham, the defensive end for Atlanta, as they were both going after the quarterback. Either way, it's another Tiberius Bovine 1st down for Oklahoma City. Here's a handoff to Moses, and DJ Moses catches the entire defense sleeping and walks in for a touchdown.
All right there, feeling the loss of Julian already. They have a little pressure there, and right, easy as you like for the touchdown. The sleeves were parted and no one was there to fill.
And Levant, that's why you pay the fullbacks, because sometimes they get the ball and the defense is not ready for it, and they have an open lane just like that. And here's Johnny Omega on for the extra point. The extra point is up and good. A must-win game for both of these teams. Oklahoma City leads it 10-7 with 7 minutes to go in the first half. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. We'll be back after the break. This afternoon's Simulation Football League broadcast on the 11 Sports Network is presented by APM Music, production music library and custom music house, and brought to you in part by Fuel Beyond Imagination. Visit the all-new SFLinteractive.net today. By Matt Doyle Designs, the official branding partner of the SFL, and by Media Tech Institute. Turn your passion into your profession. Aerial shots of the Atlanta area brought to you by Airviews, United by Drone. Visit airviews.com to see more drone footage. And back in the Hive, the crowd a little bit trepid here in the second quarter as Oklahoma City drove down the field and has taken the lead. The Atlanta offense back on the field after this kickoff. And here comes the return out to the 29. Big hit there at the end of the play by Caesar Massey. He's the tight end playing special teams for Oklahoma City. And right before the touchdown was scored by the Renegades, Greg Julian, the defensive tackle for Atlanta, went out with an injury. We still don't know the severity of that injury. We'll keep you updated. And the Atlanta 29, here's BDG Hollywood, spins away from one tackle, and he's just putting the defenders in a spin cycle, and maybe got a little bit dizzy there. Gets 5 yards as he's brought down by Clark.
Well, we'd like to see Hollywood try to push the pile more. He seems to be caught up on his blockers quite a bit. He needs to have his arm extended out and try to see if he can just move a little more to the outside as he runs.
Dunhill in the gun on 2nd and 5. He'll drop back to pass, throw to the far side, and that's tipped and knocked away. Jumping on the route was Ashley Rose Finch, and it's 3rd and 5.
We find her right here, just out in zone coverage. She makes the read and just knocks the ball away. Probably had the angle to try to go after the ball, but she just decides to do this instead.
Siege Falco often plays second fiddle in this receiving corps, but he is no slouch after he makes a catch. He's got over 800 yards this season and 2 touchdowns. That was who the pass was intended for. Now 3rd down and 5. Dunhill to the far side and just missing. The ability to turn upfield is Siege Falco. Pass led him a bit too far, 4th down.
Seems like they went back to the same play, but he just lost his footing, as you saw there, and just stumbled awkwardly out of bounds. Not sure if the pass was just caught too high or he just didn't know where he was anymore.
On to punt for the first time today is Otis Jenkins. He stands just outside his own 20-yard line. And the kick is away from the 25. And Ashley Rose Finch receives it, makes one defender miss, 2 defenders miss, and gets to the 35-yard line. Oklahoma City back on offense, nursing a 10-7 lead, 6 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the second quarter. Now, I mentioned earlier that Greg Julian, the defensive tackle for Atlanta, was out with an injury. How do you think this affects the Oklahoma City rushing attack? We'll see after this play. 1st and 10, and we'll have a free play as the run goes up the middle to Moses. Moses gets 11 yards running right through tackles, and maybe we saw a perfect example of how Oklahoma City's going to adjust right there.
Yeah, they're just seeming like they're going to go right after it, and look at it right here. This looks to be encroachment.
Encroachment. It's Sam Arnold, who is Julian's backup and is in the game, who jumped the start. And it looks like Oklahoma City will decline the penalty and take a 1st down up the field.
Already seeing the residual effects. We'll see how Atlanta adjusts. There's going to be more focus on how Joshua Williams commands the middle for Atlanta.
Here is Jason Williams, straight up the middle like a hot knife through butter, grabs 9 yards on 1st down. And the rushing attack working to perfection on Oklahoma City's 3rd drive of the game.
Seems like they're just going to go back to either one of their backs and go into 2 running back system and just try to beat this defense's submission.
On 2nd and 1, Atlanta crowds the line, and it's going to be a throw over the middle, caught by Bovine. And a 1st down and 10. And this is where you can get caught in a little bit of a trap if you're the Atlanta defense. If you crowd the line too much, Nickens could hurt you over the top.
And not only that, but we all know that how much of a weapon Bovine is from the tight end position. And if you crowd the line and you don't put a man coverage on the tight end, you're going to have some problems.
Eight players in the box, and Nickens says he throws the wobbly throw, but it's caught at the 10-yard line. A leaping catch, and inside the red zone again goes the Oklahoma City defense, or offense, rather.
Just sees it again, just fires a quick shot release over to Jackson, who just happens to have a couple steps ahead of his receiver. And here it is again. They've been focusing so heavily on trying to stop the run on this drive that they're letting receivers go isolated on islands like that.
Over the middle into traffic. That was a dangerous throw, but it is caught by Jackson. Ermac Jackson made that leaping catch down the field to set up this position for Oklahoma City. And you're right, the defenders outside left on an island. That was a one-on-one with Blake Hamrick down the field. And now we got a 2nd and goal from the 5. Under 4 minutes to go, first half, and another jump start. It's a really big hit on Jason Williams. He didn't really get any yards, but it doesn't matter, as a 2nd straight penalty on this drive for the defensive line of Atlanta.
Neutral zone infraction, number 56. Defense half the distance to the goal.
That's a
That's actually Lawrence Sackham who will be charged with the penalty here. The defensive line has been reeling since the loss of Julian.
Sackham, the Week 11 rookie signing. 2nd and goal from the 3 after the penalty. Handoff. Up the middle. Touchdown. Oklahoma City. Untouched goes Jason Williams. And it's a 2-touchdown lead for the Renegades.
Just look at it right here on display. Just perfect blocks, has blockers ahead of him. And there's just nothing Atlanta can do.
There was a lineman out there, I think it was Clay McCoo, who didn't have anything to do. He just stood there and watched Williams walk into the end zone because he didn't have anybody to block. So Oklahoma City, pending the extra point, has a 10-point lead with just over 3 minutes to go in the first half. Kick on the way, and good. We're going to take a short break and be back at the Hive after this. Atlanta trying to come back down 10. This is the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Welcome back to the Hive in Atlanta, Georgia. Michael Trillo and Levant Mercer on the call for this one, where the Oklahoma City Renegades have almost a shocking 17-7 lead over the Atlanta Swarm. Here is the return. Out past the 30 to the 32-yard line. And Levant, I'm almost a little speechless here as how the second quarter has unfolded, because at the end of the first, it was 7-0 Atlanta. Their offense was clicking, and they've been kind of just shut down here in the second period.
It just seems like they were able to get yardage, but when it comes down to third down, they just stop. They just can't get it going after that. Get 2 downs worth of football, and then they can't get third down.
Hollywood gets 3. Remember to like the SFL on Instagram at SimulationFL. Give our partner Nation's best football like while you're there. There's the update on Julian, and it doesn't look like he will return in this football game. So Atlanta's going to have to work with that on the defensive side. But right now, the league's best passing attack has been held to just 2 explosive plays and 1 touchdown so far. Dunhill back to pass, throws over the middle into the slot and complete into Oklahoma City territory. Taking a hit to make the play was Jamal Wooding.
When your offense is this explosive, you wouldn't really be that concerned. Just look at Dunhill right here. Wooding has absolute jets for feet, as you can see right there. No one covering him, and that was as easy as you'd like for Atlanta.
And that's another tight end who's had a really, really good game. He is on the 1,000-yard receiving watch. With that one, he moves under 50 yards to go until he hits 1,000 on the season. Here's a flare out to Hollywood, tries to turn upfield. He does stay in bounds and pushes past defenders for another first down to the 37, give 12 yards that time to Hollywood.
Yeah, this is what you would like to see Atlanta do more. Just get Hollywood involved in the passing game. You see how agile their blocks are.
Ooh.
He's almost went out of bounds there.
Could that potentially be a challenge from the Oklahoma City sideline? And he is.
Yes, they are going to challenge.
Michael Irvine throws the red flag, and from that overhead view, it looked pretty clear to me that almost half of his foot was out of bounds. And this would be huge because it would bring up a 3rd down.
Yeah, the 3rd down that they haven't been doing very well in so far today. And
that
pretty
on that
cool.
view, it was closer than I originally had imagined. We'll see what the call is. Here's R62 at the replay booth. What's the call?
After review, the player stepped out of bounds.
And the player stepped out of bounds. Oklahoma City wins the challenge and puts Atlanta in a bit of a tough situation, barely into Oklahoma City territory here. Forgive me, I thought it was 3rd down. It's 2nd down and 10, so still plenty of time to work with here.
So they're just going to repeat the down.
Just 5 seconds to go to the 2-minute warning, so this should be the last play before the break. Over the middle from Dunhill. It is... Oh, it's caught! Somehow, Boo Chisholm got in between the 2 safeties and made a sliding catch. I thought for all the world that Parker Thomas was going to intercept that.
Just look at this right here again, and somehow there needs to be more effort on that play from Thomas.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. Atlanta trying to claw back into this one, down 10. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. Stay with us. Michael Trillo, Lamont Mercer coming to you live from the Hive in Atlanta. 1st and 10 for the Atlanta Swarm, the hometown team here. As Dunhill throws a quick slot down the seam, and it's caught by who else? Boo Chisholm down to the 3-yard line.
This is just the beauty of the air raid. Sometimes you think nothing's happening, and then other times you just have this several plays. And, you know, if that ball wasn't overthrown just a bit, would have been in the end zone, but that's fine because Boo Chisholm is an athlete. Those grabs.
Last time that Atlanta was down at this end of the field, Dunhill threw a tipped interception in the back of the end zone. Let's see if BDG Hollywood has something else to say about it, and a penalty flag will fly. Not sure who this is on.
A bit of a dipsy doodle by Oklahoma City.
And it is against Oklahoma City, so that'll move Atlanta ever so closer to the end zone and maybe even put it more in BDG Hollywood territory. He has 12 rushing touchdowns all the season, 6 through the air, and maybe a chance to add a 13th here on this next couple of plays. There you see Brady Clark, the free safety, lined up on Siege Falco. But the power eye is out for Atlanta. They're going to hand it off to Hollywood, and he skips his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Hollywood's got 2, and Atlanta's got 14, pending the extra point.
Seeing how the defense was aligned, I would have thought for a second that Oklahoma City would have called a timeout, and they were just punished for not doing so. That right there, BDG Hollywood against a defense that doesn't have enough in the box, just ambles into the end zone.
Well, I think that the Renegades were maybe thinking that Dunhill was going to repeat the mistake of the previous drive and pass inside the 5, but no sir this time. BDG Hollywood walks in for a touchdown, his second of the game, and Jay Miraculous hits the extra point. So it's a 3-point ball game with less than 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. And if you've liked what you've seen today, there is a lot more coming on the 11 Sports Network, both today and tomorrow, as you see our upcoming schedule. At 5 o'clock Eastern, Vancouver hosts San Francisco, London, and St. Louis play at 7:30. And the 3-time back-to-back champs, the Alaska Storm, host the Sioux Falls Sparrows, who are in a playoff fight of their own, at 10:30 Eastern time, and also a slate of games on Monday. I'm sure we'll talk about those more as we go throughout the broadcast today. Oklahoma City with the ball and the lead at their own 28-yard line. It's been very efficient drive-wise from the Renegades so far today. They've hit the end zone twice. They've hit a field goal once, and they've only been 3 and out once. So 3 for 4 ain't bad. Nickens on first down, throws it short, complete into traffic. And Ermac Jackson makes his 4th catch of the afternoon, 2nd of 5.
Yeah, they really like going to those intermediate routes. And somehow they just find a soft spot in the coverage to throw to. But that time I feel like Nickens really needs to watch the balls he forces downfield.
Here's a fullback dive to the right side. It's maybe a generous spot to give a yard to DJ Moses. Big hit by Roscoe Justice, the Week 10 signing for Atlanta. And there is the reaction in the chat on twitch.tv/11 Sports next to the other BDG Hollywood touchdown. If you want to join in and chat with players, coaches, owners, and everybody else in the SFL, even us up here in the booth, as it's not good enough, as Joe Clark Jr. couldn't turn upfield. I thought he might have had forward progress, but he came back to make the catch. It is a yard short, and that may just take us to halftime.
Yeah, it just so happened that as he was processing catch, he had to go back for it. The ball was a bit low. He came back for it, crossed back over the boundary, got tackled behind the line. So it's not a first down.
That'll bring an end to a very entertaining first half of football. The Renegades fighting for their playoff lives. The Swarm also fighting to get into the playoffs. It's halftime. Your score, Atlanta 14, Oklahoma City 17 as you look at the numbers. And not really great rushing for either team, most of it being done through the air.
Yeah, but all those rushing yards are deceptive. Because that's key vital situations on 3rd down or in the red zone. They got their scores through the ground, but the aerial game is where this game's going to be won and lost so far. Dunhill has 175 yards and a touchdown. Nickens has 168. And so far today, it's been pretty back and forth. It's been interesting to see how Oklahoma City has been competitive throughout.
Yeah, there you see the long touchdown reception for BDG Hollywood in the first quarter. Then here's Dunhill. They almost went up 14-3, and then interception. And that interception in the back of the end zone by Brady Clark may have turned this game around, because then there were 2 straight scores from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, not only that, but then Atlanta lost one of their linemen earlier in the first, and that's how, and during the drive the first drive that they lost that defensive lineman, that's when Oklahoma City drove down the field now that they weren't getting that much pressure. So in the second half, they're going to have to find a way to scheme their way back into the backfield to try to get naked down. And for Atlanta, for Oklahoma City, honestly, they just need to mitigate these big plays going over the top of them.
We're back in the Hive. Great turnout here on a Sunday afternoon for a playoff race battle between the Atlanta Swarm and the Oklahoma City Renegades. Chad, glad you have joined us on the SFL presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. This is week 12 of 13. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Trillo. Lamont Mercer is alongside me in the booth. And we are underway. Atlanta gets the ball to start the second half down by 3, but with a very lethal passing attack, and with BDG Hollywood also in there as well. They start at their own 27-yard line after the return by Sateen. And Marcus Dunhill in the first half really favored number 80. Boo Chisholm, the sixth-season veteran. He made a couple of fantastic catches down the field and really kept a bunch of drives alive for Atlanta, and maybe a touchdown in the works for him in the future in this ballgame. Here's a handoff. BDG Hollywood spins and gets in the open field, and there's nobody that's going to catch BDG Hollywood. One man to beat down the sideline. No thank you. Touchdown first play from scrimmage for BDG Hollywood. He's got another rushing touchdown, and Atlanta takes a lead.
Well, at the half, you said, well, there wasn't much out of the gates fired. Here we have BDG Hollywood takes a spin and he's gone. He's fastest backs in the league, and you see why right here. What's matched up with him at the very end? A corner, and he's still way ahead of him.
Oklahoma City was definitely playing man-to-man coverage on the outside, and nobody was free to spy the running back, and Hollywood made him pay, made the first man miss, and he was gone after that. And Atlanta will head back up by 4. Here's Miraculous for the extra point. It is good. Atlanta with an explosive start to the second half. How will Oklahoma City respond? We'll be back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League on the 11 Sports Network. Back of the Hive, and a statement of intent by BDG Hollywood of the Atlanta offense on the previous drive, taking the lead again with a long touchdown run. That was 77 yards for the score, and now Oklahoma City finds themselves behind the 8 ball again with their slower, more controlled rushing attack offense. And getting behind in a game like this against a team that can score in bunches really isn't the Oklahoma City idea of a good time.
No, it's not. And especially, as you said before, they're more West Coast offense likes to control the clock. But for this to really work, they need to be ahead or close. Right now, it's close, but they need a score here.
Nickens, plenty of time, but bobbled and dropped by Bovine, 2nd and 10. That's the first mistake we've really seen Tiberius Bovine make today.
And you keep putting him in situations where he's in double coverage and you want him to make a catch. Sometimes he hit. He's trying to come down with the reception. That's just the nature of the beast.
2nd and 10. Nickens under center, back to pass, pressure coming, and down he goes. The offensive line went out to lunch, and it's a third sack of the game for Joshua Williams.
Now this time the center tries to engage Joshua Williams all alone. Just look at it right here. That's not a recipe for success, and gets the sack there, second sack of the day.
The pass protection for Oklahoma City was doing a very good job in the second quarter after Julian went down with an injury of double teaming Joshua Williams as the most dangerous man on that line, but he left him alone there as it has to be a check down. Everybody covered down the middle on 3rd down and 17. Only a gain of 3 to Clark. And Atlanta's defense comes up huge, especially the big man up front.
All right, so that sack's really changed the complexion of this drive particularly, and now they're going to have to punt.
I remember on Oklahoma City's first possession of the game, they had to settle for 3 after 2 sacks in a row to end the drive. And Joshua Williams now has 3 sacks on the day. Take that to 12 on the season. If you want to be just like Joshua Williams, go from the couch to the field, join our fantastic league. You can be drafted onto one of these teams or one of the other 19 teams in the Simulation Football League. Saturday, December 14th at the SFL Rookie Draft Live. So how do you do that? You go to our website, simulationfl.net. You join our Discord server, and you post a check-in each week that builds your draft stock. And here's BDG Hollywood. Oh, took a big shot at the end of that run from Brady Clark. But again, he got to the outside and had room to run.
That's just been the case for Atlanta today. They've been able to get blockers front. They haven't really missed their assignments when leading the way for Hollywood, and it's given them an easy time of it back there.
2nd and 4. Here is Dunhill. Dunhill to Hollywood. Spins away from one tackle. Can't get away from the second man through. And slow to get up, but getting up is Ashley Rose Finch. And Hollywood stifled on 2 attempts in a row on the outside. Let's see if they run him inside here on 3rd and 2 or go to the air. They do like to run onto this power I, and Hollywood's got space, and Hollywood's got one man to beat, and he just got slowed up a little bit, and he's brought down at the Oklahoma City 40 after breaking up another 1st down.
That's been the case for him today, hasn't it? I mean, he's had some great runs. He's been able to get into the end zone a couple times, and then right here just kind of gets caught up on the blocker yet again. That just seems to be the only real nag on him so far today. That's minor. Been having a great game otherwise.
Thomasina Rahman just slowed up Hollywood just enough to where he was brought down. Here's Hollywood up the middle into a crowd, and he falls forward for 4 yards. Great push there by the offensive line. 2nd down and 6, and as we get a little bit of a slower pace to this 3rd quarter after the blistering start, Atlanta may be trying to slow down the clock here, prevent time for Oklahoma City to potentially come back in this game. Dunhill, plenty of time, throws underneath it. It's caught, but working back to the football and going out of bounds before the line to gain is Siege Falco. Maybe looked like he was pushed backwards to the football by the defender. 3rd and 4.
There may have been cries for pass interference there, but honestly, I mean, the ball was put at a really odd spot in the first place. It was way above both players' heads. He had to go up and get it. It was a pretty awkward play, to say the least.
3rd and 4. Dunhill, low snap, pressure in his face, across the middle, down the seam, and it's caught. A huge hit at the end of the play, but Jamal Wooding hangs on down to the 21-yard line.
Here's a tough one. This Wooding right here. Just look at the play again. Comes across the middle. Gets hit real good, but a little bit too high, a little bit too square. Not where the ball is, so he's able to hold on.
just outside the red zone of the 21. Oklahoma City brought the blitz on the last play and it backfired on them. This time they only rushed 3. Dunhill chips it short to Falco. He's double team tackled after a gain of 8. Now they're officially into the red zone of the 13. You see the quarterback comparisons between Dunhill and Nickens. It's been 2 different ways of getting to almost 200 yards for Nickens and 200 yards for Dunhill, but they're both having good games.
And we are having a good game here.
2nd down and 2. Dunhill to... That's not BDG. It is BDG Hollywood on the outside. I thought it was, for a second, it was the fullback Peyton Chisholm. But Hollywood gets down to the 4, fresh set of downs inside the 5, and maybe a 4th touchdown of the game upcoming for number 34.
I mean, with that burst coming out the line, who could it be but BDG Hollywood, honestly. You know, Peyton just doesn't have the same giddy up and go, you know?
Over the middle. Incomplete for the touchdown! Dunhill goes to the air and finds Siege Falco for 6. Oh, no, that's Boo Chisholm for 6. Apologies.
It's right there. Looking at it again, just one-on-one. They were in a zone coverage. Nobody was right on them. Nobody was manning them. That's sort of designed to do. Just shred the defense when they're put to sleep like that. And Atlanta goes up even more.
The reason I thought that it was Falco originally, because Falco was in the slot on the play, and Falco and Boo Chisholm ran a little bit of a scissors route where they went back and forth to confuse the defenders. It worked to perfection. Atlanta, from down 10, is now up 10 with 5:43 to go in the 3rd. We'll be back after the break. This is the SFL Network on 11 Sports. Back in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Hive. Atlanta with an 11-point lead over the Oklahoma City Renegades. Oklahoma City, of course, needing a win and a win next week to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Make sure to follow the SFL on Twitter. We're at SimulationFL. Use the hashtag #MakeAnImpact. Spread the word about our fantastic league. Updates every single day from the great people at the social media team. Andy Hamilton heads that up for us. And while you're there on the internet, give follows to our Facebook and Instagram accounts as well. That's also at SimulationFL. Make sure you never miss a moment of Simulation Football League action. Nickens on 1st and 10 from the 26. Checks it down, and a good spin move there by Williams, but he only gets 2 in the end as he's brought down by Dylan Rowland. 2nd down and 8 coming up here. 3 sacks on the day for Joshua Williams have really been the difference for the Atlanta defense, who for a time in the 2nd quarter looked like they were lost on the field of plays. Oklahoma City ran off 14 straight points. Here's Williams again. 2 more yards to the 30. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, he's really stepped up today. You know, they had a bit of miscommunication early. Now that Williams has taken command of that front 7 right there, they've really been looking up and just having a great day so far. A couple tackles for loss, 3 sacks.
Nickens moves in the pocket, fires across his body, and it's incomplete. Oh no, he caught it? Are you telling me that Joe Clark Jr. made a catch and kept his feet in bounds? Unreal.
Yeah, it seemed to be diving for the ball, but he kept his bound. And and that was just enough. This man kind of reminds me a bit of some other stature. Just able to really do the most for Oklahoma City.
Clark, the rookie, signed in week 8. Only 5'11", 200 pounds. Here's Williams. He only gets 2 off the right-hand side. I would have loved to see a replay of that catch because I thought that Nickens was just throwing the ball away, giving himself up for dead because the offensive line was collapsing around him.
It may have seemed like that on the onset, but sometimes, you know these players talk to each other and say, "I've got to make a play." That's what Clark did.
Handoff, fullback dive. Moses gets 4. It'll be 3rd and 4. And something that Oklahoma City likes to do, well, maybe not likes to do, but they have done in this game, is they've put themselves in a lot of 3rd down and medium to 3rd down and long situations. If you want to know how to go from the couch to the field, go to simulationfl.net, join our Discord server, begin building draft, and you could have your name announced on live television of the SFL Draft December 14th. Nickens across the middle on 3rd down, complete. And who else? That's Tiberius Bovine. Fresh set of downs at midfield for the Renegades.
That's really what this offense needs to do to get back into this game. Go back to worked in the first quarter, hem them up a little bit on 1st and 2nd, soften them up, and go right back to Bovine.
Nickens ends to Williams. Oh! Somehow Williams escapes, and there's nobody between him and the zone. Jason Williams, what a touchdown!
All right there, just a little bit of miscommunication on the stunt, and that time there was just nowhere up the middle. As soon as he pushes the pile, gets right through, and open field was waiting for him, and the end.
I think there might have been a little bit of miscommunication on the defensive end because it was a run blitz, and both safeties came and blitzed, leaving nobody back there. The closest person to Williams at the end was the corner, Jack Napier.
Yeah, that looked like they engaged 8 players, and that was about it. But they stunted the line. 2 defensive ends got caught up with each other in the middle there, and that's what led to Williams having an easy straightaway run to the end zone.
Omega puts the kick up and good. Do not go anywhere, folks, with 2:41 to go in the 3rd. It's a 4-point game. Oklahoma City's trying to stay alive in their fight for the playoffs. We'll be back after this. This is the SFL on the 11 Sports Network. Back in Atlanta, Georgia, the Oklahoma City Renegades showing signs of life. Michael Trillo, Levant Mercer in the booth for this one from the Hive in Atlanta. And now it's on the Oklahoma City defense to get something going here to stop the Atlanta Swarm's brutal and efficient passing attack. And there was the response in the chat by... or at twitch.tv/11sportsnext. They were reacting to the crazy toe drag play by Joe Clark Jr. on the previous drive. I see Pseudo Nakai there. He's the running back for the Vancouver Legion. He says, how do I join the Mike Trillo fan club? I thought you were already in it, Pseudo. Thanks for the kind comment. As BDG Hollywood says, they're not the only running back on the field that can do things, Mr. Williams, and he gets 7 yards on 1st down.
Yeah, they've been really able to get blockers up in front for the day, and Oklahoma City's just not able to penetrate the line, and that's what's causing these huge chunk runs by Hollywood.
Handoff. Hollywood spins out of a tackle. First down to the 39. Hollywood 135 yards on the ground and a lot of yards through the air as well, as he has a long touchdown catch and he's caught some balls in the flat as well, just as an extra option for Dunhill on pass plays.
Hey, he's a versatile back. He could do it all, really.
Dunhill, plenty of time to throw all day, and he completes it down the middle of Wooding. And that catch means that Jamal Wooding goes over 1,000 receiving yards for the season.
Yeah, it's like Mike Daggs likes to say, tight ends matter, and he's mattered so much for his team. Congratulations to him and the Atlanta Swarm.
That's just a good late curl back to the football right in front of Thomasina Robin. And a big milestone hit on the season for Wooding. First and 10 at the Oklahoma City 34. Just a minute and 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's been a wild back-and-forth seesaw battle here in Atlanta today. Dunhill down the middle, intercepted! He overthrew the receiver, and now Brady Clark is running back the other way. He takes it back to the 31-yard line. And oh boy, the pendulum is swinging back in Oklahoma City's favor. Yeah, I don't know who Dunhill was really aiming for there. He had Chisholm out there. He also had Falco out there deep and kind of threw it in the middle of both of them. And Brady Clark just climbed the ladder, made the interception, and Oklahoma City has the ball back. Under a minute to go in the third. Nickens, with that I formation behind him, drops back to pass, dumps it short over the middle. That's Rovod. He'll pick up 5, and that play has been consistently working all day long. If you've liked what you've seen today, there is plenty more Simulation Football League action coming up on the 11 Sports Network at 5, 7:30, and 10 p.m. Eastern today, as well as games tomorrow at 4:30, 7, and 9:30 Eastern. Playoff spots on the line in basically every game this week. Do not miss a moment of the action. Under 30 seconds to go in the third now. Nickens on 2nd and 5. Steps into the pocket and goes down again. 4th sack of the game for number 99. Joshua Williams has had himself a heck of a ball game.
Yeah, he came into this game with only 9 sacks, and now he has about, 13 on the season? All of them coming in 13, 14 sacks on the season?
The clock ticks down to the end of the third quarter. We go to break, but Oklahoma City is driving and potentially will take the lead. Renegades 24, Storm 28. We'll be back. See you after the break. Tonight's Simulation Football League broadcast on the 11 Sports Network is brought to you in part by Nation's Best Football, helping NFL, college, high school, and youth players help to hashtag secure the bag. By ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. By Sector 6, custom esports jerseys and apparel and the exclusive SFL shop provider. And by SpyGoat, dedicated to the craft of audio. Aerial shots provided to you by Airviews United by Drone. Visit airviews.com, that's AIRVUZ.com, to see more drone footage. And we are back at the Hive in Atlanta for the fourth quarter. 11 minutes left to find a winner. Here we go. And Nickens throws down the seam. The referee takes a tumble and the pass is caught down the middle. And that's probably the longest catch of the game we've seen from Tiberius Bovine, as he's mostly been an underneath man so far.
Yeah, this time they just have him run a bit of a out route, further out than usual, and was able to find, with a little bit more effort than he needed to, had to get through the referee as well to make sure he was able to make the catch.
We usually harp on R62 here in the SFL, but that time we got to give a little bit of stick to R43, who took a tumble trying to avoid Bovine over the middle. 1st and 10 into Atlanta territory at the 49, just over the halfway mark. And the pass goes to Clark, and Clark picks up 6 on the far side. 66 yards for Joe Clark Jr. Not a shabby day at all for number 15. And now I wanted to take a look as we start the fourth quarter at the up and down roller coaster season that Atlanta has been on. They started 3-0 and looked like they were going to be world beaters. And I'll finish my thought after the 2nd down and 4 with 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Deep drop by Nickens, throws short over the middle. That's caught again, and they haven't defended this at all today. Whoever's going over the middle, be it Bovine or at that point, Ermax Jackson.
Seems as though they're content to let that go through, as every play that has been completed over Mill has had one or less defender actually covering that. So it makes me believe that they're all covering or shading deep down the field.
Nickens moves in the pocket, throws on the run, almost intercepted. It was in and out of the hands of Blake Chanson. That could have been a huge turning point in the game, but the ball hits the turf, and Oklahoma City survives a scare. And
that right there is just an example of what it was that I was talking about. There were more than 6 defensive backs back there. There were 2 in the area and another defender underneath, where Blady Clark came through and knocked the ball away.
And once again, happy feet from Deacon Nickens under pressure. This time he has time. He got the ball away, throws deep, incomplete. He was going for Jackson, who was double covered. It's going to be 3rd down and 10.
And that right there, Chance once again knocks the ball away. You have 2 defenders on double coverage and 1 underneath there. They've just been sending all the defenders deep. You were making a point about Atlanta earlier, about their season.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride. Thanks for reminding me. They won their first 3 games, looked like they were going to be world beaters, then lost their next 4, and then have won 3 in a row coming into this game. Nickens forced to flush from the pocket, and he throws incomplete, intended for Bovine. Maybe a little bit of seeing ghosts there from Nickens, as he had good protection, but chose to roll out anyway. And here comes Ethan Ellis, the punter, on as they're just outside of field goal range. Hard pill to swallow from Oklahoma City on this drive.
It's a bit interesting that they bring the punter out. I feel like they've been in range. They don't trust their kicker enough, and we'll see if he gets it in the coffin corner.
Ellis aiming for that corner, and it's not going to be great. Fair caught at the 12. Atlanta not quite backed up in the shadow of their own end zone. So Atlanta on offense again, 9 minutes to go, leading 28-24. This would be the time to really slow down the game, but how slow does this Atlanta offense go?
And if you can drain 5 minutes off the clock, 5-6 minutes off the clock, you'd be doing pretty well for yourselves. I mean, you still want to score on this drive to make sure your lead is a bit safe.
There is the wild card race as Hollywood dragged down gain of 8. Atlanta in the thick of it at 6-4. couple of teams at 5-5 down there. Tulsa and Las Vegas on the outside looking in. Oklahoma City on the outside looking in, would need something crazy to happen to get in. But they need to start by winning this game. And here's 2nd and 2. Hollywood in the backfield. Dunhill going to throw out to Hollywood. Good block in front of him. He gets the ball, spins out of one tackle, gets the first down, out to the 28-yard line. And some short yardage plays, move the chains, drain the clock. This is exactly what Atlanta need to do right now.
And now they're just going a little bit more intermediate clock to go out to the outside to the flat. Probably going to try some more swing passes. Not trying to do anything too fancy. They just want to get out of this game already and just go on to next week, if they can.
I don't think they can quite look past this Oklahoma City team just yet with 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Here's Hollywood up the middle, untouched through the offensive line and gets 7 yards. And I wonder how many times that Brady Clark has had to clean up on the backside on a Hollywood run today.
And that's probably just been because the front seven get in the backfield much. As you see here, they have 10 in the box, and
they just go outside to Hollywood, and Hollywood picks up another first down. That's the Atlanta 44. A fantastic job of reading the pressure and working away from it.
That's just been the case all day. When they do the box, they'll just go right back to the outside and just make sure that the quarterback or the ball carriers no harm. They just make sure that they just check it down and just see another play.
First and 10 from the Atlanta 44. Dunhill back to pass, pumps, throws, near side, caught, and turning upfield is Boo Chisholm, and he's dragging defenders, and he's getting away from defenders, and he's down inside the 10, and out of the 7.
He's just having a great day out there so far. You just one right here, and there's just no one right there on this wheel route. He goes outside, and then, you know, they really have to do better than this. Once again, a whole bunch of arm tackles. They're just going to get shrugged off. Just look at this look at this man. Just look at this man go down the field and shrug off these tackles. You really have to hit him harder than that.
Atlanta wants to put the nail in the proverbial coffin right here, right now on this drive. They're already up 4. Handoff. Hollywood doesn't get there. Goes down at the 5. 2nd and goal coming up. Good crash from the backside there by Cole Irvine, the outside linebacker.
They were able to this time pinch and then just make sure they were able to crash through, force and containment. This time did their job, allowing the runner no space.
2nd and goal. Atlanta with Dunhill to the back of the end zone. It's off the hands of the receiver who was wide open standing underneath the goalpost. It was Jamal Wooding, and it would have been an excellent cap to a beautiful day of football for Wooding, but the ball goes through his hands.
That time it just seemed like it hit him straight in the hands as he was just forming his hands to catch. It seemed like it hit him in the hands right then, so he wasn't exactly ready for the pass.
4 wide on 3rd and goal. 6 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the ball game. Atlanta up by 4. Now the pass over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for Sativa, the rookie, but knocked away with authority by Thomasita Rahman, who jumped the route.
Ball didn't come out with. It seemed like it had a little bit too much loft under it. Had a little bit too much touch on it, and just gave Rahman just enough time to come back on, knock the ball away.
And on for the field goal to give Atlanta a 7-point lead is the Week 9 signing Jay Miraculous. And Miraculous is up and good. I'll have a story about Jay Miraculous when we come back to Atlanta. They've got a 7-point lead with 6 minutes to go. Can they hold on? Find out next. back at the Hive, where the Atlanta Swarm just took a 31-24 lead over the Oklahoma City Renegades here. Week 12 Simulation Football League action. Before the break, I mentioned I had a story about Atlanta kicker Jay Miraculous, and I'll get to that after this return by Rose Finch, who gets out to the 28. Jay Miraculous signed with the Atlanta Swarm in Week 9 of the season. That week, they went up against the London Knights in a crazy back-and-forth seesaw battle. It probably will be on the short list for game of the season, but Miraculous hit the game-winning field goal with time expiring for a 40-38 win, which really kept Atlanta's season on track, righted the course after 4 straight losses. Here's Nickens on 1st and 10, floats it near side for 5 yards to Jackson. And if that is not a perfect example of anybody can come into this league and make an immediate impact and be successful, I don't know what is. If you want to get involved with the Simulation Football League, head on over to simulationfl.net, join the Discord server, check in to increase player value for your first contract. Your name could be called live on 11 Sports Saturday, December 14th in our rookie draft. That's how you go from the couch to the field with the Simulation Football League. Nickens under pressure, gets the pass away, and it's caught and turning upfield for a first down. Stiff arms and all. What a way to make something out of nothing there. DJ Moses, only his second catch of the ball game.
But this right here is just, look at Moses. Shrugs off a tackle and ooh, wow. Just take a sharp shot from that stiff arm there. Aaron Lee's got to be feeling that heat.
Under 6 minutes to go. In fact, 5 minutes and 30 seconds remain for Oklahoma City to try and claw back from a 7-point deficit. Here's a fullback dive. Moses up the middle, falls forward for 4 yards. And I think they need to start trying to go down the field. There's the wild card race again. Atlanta 6-4, 7-3, or 7 wins may be enough to get them into the playoffs. We do not know. There will be a playoffs update released after all of today's games are over with the current standings and all the SFL news that's fit to print. Tulsa, really, really important game this weekend. Just on the outside looking in. They go deep down the field to Jackson or Bovine, and Bovine makes a catch to the Atlanta 32.
Like this time, the zone was shaded all the way over to the right, leaving Jackson just cut right here, right in an island by himself. And that's just been the case sometimes for the Atlanta defense. They're just leaving Vasquez or Lee all by themselves sometimes. And Oklahoma City, when they've been able to spot it, has been able to get it through.
Nickens, pressure at his face, floats it out to Williams. Williams takes 2 men to bring him down after a 7-yard gain. Been really great efficiency from Oklahoma City on this drive, kind of hearkening back to some of their drives in the first half when they had taken a 17 to 7 lead in the second quarter before Atlanta stormed back at the end of the second and beginning of the third quarters. 2nd and 3, just over 4 minutes to go in this one. It's a late delayed handoff to Williams, and it's blown up in the backfield, and he's going backwards. Defense read it all the way from the Atlanta Swarm, and Tim Cleland was there to make the stop.
That's his first tackle of the day. It in a big spot too, setting them back and getting a tackle for us. Great job by him there.
They're gonna run on 3rd and 4 and get nowhere. Pancaked by Joshua Williams. He is really putting his name out there to be player of the game as Williams. 3 sacks, 2 more tackles for loss, and now that huge tackle at the line of scrimmage to put Oklahoma City in a 4th down situation. They're going to take the field goal unit onto the field and let their defense try and get them back into this game on the next possession. Here is Johnny Omega. It's going to be from about 42, 43 yards. Kick on the way. It is good. Right down Main Street. He has 1 from 43 and 1 from 42 today. Omega's 2 for 2. And this game is just that much closer, 27-31. And now it's really on the Oklahoma City defense, or else they're going to try and onside kick it. They're basing everything on an onside kick with 3 minutes to go in the game. The kick is there. It's recovered by Atlanta. And now the Swarm are in good field position, even if they don't run down and score, to run a lot of time off the clock, force Oklahoma City to use their timeouts and go back up 7.
I feel like it's a bit precarious. It's a bit premature to do so right before the 2-minute warning. You're giving Atlanta all this time. You're giving them a minute. You're giving them the 2-minute warning and 3 timeouts to like extend their lead. I would have just waited.
There is Hollywood. Didn't get anything on first down on the pitch. And 2nd and 10. But you're right, Lamont. The 2-minute warning is a timeout, and then Oklahoma City has 3 more. If they get a 3 and out here, and that's a big if, because I don't think they have one today, or maybe they have one back in the second quarter. They have a chance. From the Oklahoma City 41, clock runs down all the way inside 10 seconds. They're going to snap it with 6. Here's Hollywood up the middle. Hollywood with a block. Hollywood with almost a first down. It's going to be 3rd and inches, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. We are going to go to our final break of the game. We'll take you all the way through to the end when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network. Welcome back to Atlanta. The Hive is the location. Atlanta Swarm and the Oklahoma City Renegades is the occasion. It's been a knockdown, drag-out battle. Beautiful football being played on both sides, and it's going to come down to this. 3rd and inches. Can Hollywood turn upfield? Yes, he can. And now under the 2-minute warning, Oklahoma City's going to have to start burning timeouts.
And this is the situation that they found them because they decided to take that onside kick. They took that risk with 3 minutes left in the game. And now they're giving Atlanta all this time. They did not get the third. They did not get the 3 and out. Now Atlanta has this first down. It's going to be real tough. They're going to need to take the ball away here.
Inside field goal range for Atlanta as well, so they can push the lead back to 7 if they fail to grab a first down. Dunhill to Hollywood with a blocker, but the blocker missed, but Hollywood made the man miss anyway and gets 7 yards. Oklahoma City called their second timeout, and it's really important that Hollywood didn't go out of bounds there.
When you're on offense, you're in the... You honestly just want to drain the clock. You want to force Oklahoma City to... And you want to make sure that you know where you are on the field. So you don't give Oklahoma City free timeouts by going out of bounds yourself.
2nd and 3, handoff Hollywood. One-on-one battle, he wins it and wrestles his way for a first down. Final timeout Oklahoma City, and that may just about do it. And I think that may vault BDG Hollywood to player of the game status. There's what the teams are playing for. Everywhere above that dotted line gets into the playoffs. Atlanta currently in at 6-4, potentially 7-4, with 1:44 to go. And a kneel down will seal it. They've done the math. The Atlanta Swarm will hold on at home and beat the Oklahoma City Renegades 31-27.
And I just feel like this was just predicated on how the Oklahoma City decided to manage their time in the fourth. Kept it close throughout, but sometimes you make one misplay, and that's the fatal one. And that's all you need to make to lose the game. And tried to kick onside kick to get the ball back. 3 minutes left, and this is what happened.
Unfortunately, the Oklahoma City playoff race ends here with one game to go. They will drop to 3-8. Atlanta will move to 7-4. They could potentially be in as of the end of this week. And if they're not in at the end of this week, they got to be shaking their boots a little bit because they've got the Seattle Tyrants who just won a few moments ago over the Carolina Skyhawks. They are now 9-2 and in a hunt themselves for a home field advantage throughout the playoffs up there in Seattle. And Atlanta has to go to Seattle next week to round out their season. The final kneel down from Marcus Dunhill is there, and the Atlanta Swarm will secure the 31-27 win. Next week, Oklahoma City is at Tulsa, the rivalry game to wrap up their season. Tulsa still in the playoff race. They play later this weekend as we will go to the post-game show. Their final score, the Atlanta Swarm 31, the Oklahoma City Renegades 27. It was a fantastic game of football to watch. Let's take a look at the stats and highlights.
It was a well-fought game by both teams. But the Atlanta Swarm came up on top. They had bigger plays. They didn't have as much time of possession, and they gave the ball up a bit, but they made big plays when it mattered, and they really just came out firing in the second half with this big run right here by BDG Hollywood. And it's that big play potential that this team has and has had throughout the season has really broken open this game. Honestly, they took advantage of weak pass rush from Oklahoma City. They didn't really get pressure too much. They really get hurried too much. BDG Hollywood was able to get clear lanes all day, and I think that really was the difference. It was the line play that really made this game what it was.
And I'm going to need a player of the game from you, Levant. Who do you think deserves it this week?
It's tough. It's got to be between Joshua. He was aggressive in the passing game, aggressive on the ground, and most of the scores for Atlanta. I don't see who else besides Joshua Williams could you even give it to.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be Hollywood as well. A fantastic game from BDG. Really put the team on his back in crucial moments. Marcus Dunhill also had a very good game and over 100 yards receiving for BDG Hollywood. Jamal Wooding had a great game, and he goes over 1,000 yards for the season. And let's not take away the game that Tiberius Bovine had as well for the Oklahoma City Renegades. And Deacon Dickens, once he got settled in the pocket after a shaky first quarter, he was very good as well today for the Renegades. The player of the game is BDG Hollywood as he gets 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 through the air. That'll do it for us from the Hive in Atlanta, Georgia. For my analyst, Lamont Mercer, producer, Kevin Irvine, I have been your play-by-play commentator, Michael Trillo, saying stick around for the XFL action on the 11 Sports Network, and we'll see you next time.
See you there.